Hi everyone, welcome to our Movie Palace channel. We're thrilled to have you here. Whether you're a returning subscriber or a new visitor, you're in the right place for engaging content, exciting stories, and so much more. Before we dive into today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We love hearing from you, so be sure to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Story is about, while in the process of an ugly divorce from his wife Maria Bello, writer Mort Rainey Johnny Depp relocates to his remote cabin in upstate New York for solitude. Attempting to recover his mental health, Rainey has the misfortune of being found by John Turturro, a farmer who claims Rainey plagiarized his work. At first, Rainey ignores the accusations, but Shooter has no intention of quietly disappearing. Soon, Shooter becomes increasingly vicious in his quest for retribution. Let's go the film story. After discovering his wife Amy's affair with their friend Ted, mystery writer Mort Rainey retreats to his cabin at Tashmore Lake in upstate New York. Amy stays in their marital home. 6 months later, Mort is depressed and suffers from writer's block, delaying their divorce. One day, a man named John Shooter arrives at Mort's cabin. He accuses Mort of copying his short story, Sowing Season. Mort reads Shooter's manuscript and finds it almost identical to his own story's secret window, except for the ending. The next day, Mort, who once copied another story, tells Shooter that his story was published 2 years earlier, which makes Shooter's claim invalid. Shooter demands proof and warns Mort not to call the police. That night, Mort's dog Chico is found dead with a note from Shooter, giving Mort 3 days to prove his story is original. Mort reports this to Sheriff Newsom. He tries to get the magazine from his house, but leaves when he sees Ted and Amy. Mort hires private investigator Ken Karsh, who talks to Tom Greenleaf, a local resident who thinks he saw Shooter and Mort together. Shooter demands Mort change his story's ending to make the protagonist kill his wife. An arson fire destroys Mort's house and probably the magazine. Mort tells the police he has an enemy. Karsh thinks someone threatened Greenleaf, who now denies seeing Mort and Shooter together. Mort and Karsh plan to meet Greenleaf, but find him and Karsh dead. Shooter says he killed them because they interfered and implicates Mort by using his tools. Mort agrees to meet Shooter at his cabin with the magazine, which his literary agent is sending overnight. Mort pushes Greenleaf's truck with the bodies off a cliff into a quarry. Mort gets the package from the post office, but finds the pages with his story cut out. At the cabin, Mort puts on Shooter's hat and talks to himself, trying to understand what happened. Frustrated, he throws something, causing a crack in the cabin. Looking in the mirror, he is startled to see the back of his head. Mort realizes Shooter is part of his imagination, created to cope with his anger and do bad things, like killing Chico, Greenleaf, and Karsh, and burning Amy's home. This part of him now takes full control. Amy arrives to find the cabin wrecked with Shooter carved everywhere. Mort, acting like Shooter, chases Amy and stabs her in the leg. Ted arrives and is killed by Mort. Months later, Mort has recovered from his writer's block and regained his passion for life. He is feared and avoided in town because of rumors about the missing people linked to him. Sheriff Newsom arrives and tells Mort he is the prime suspect in the murders and that the bodies will be found. Newsom says Mort is no longer welcome in town. Mort dismisses this, saying the ending to his new story is perfect. It is implied that Amy and Ted's bodies are buried under the corn growing in Mort's garden, allowing him to gradually hide the evidence of their murders. In an alternative ending available on home media, their bodies are shown under the earth. This is a 2000 for American psychological thriller film. It was written and directed by David Koepp.